so much like your mother.
Feels like there's a story there.
Marvel has finally confirmed that Mephisto exists in the MCU. We got the confirmation during the third episode of Agatha All Along. The world of sorcery and magic has been part of the MCU since Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange came into play in Phase 2, but there's still so much more to uncover in the live-action franchise. Mephisto, a supervillain from Marvel Comics, often faces off against magic users like Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Ghost Rider, but he hasn't made his official debut yet. Since Phase 4 kicked off, the MCU has been diving deeper into its magical elements. WandaVision showed Wanda Maximoff embracing her full powers as the Scarlet Witch and introduced Agatha Harkness, a witch who's been around for centuries. Then, in the post-credit scene of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we were introduced to Clea, who also ties into the magical side of the story. Now, with Agatha All Along, the show continues to explore the realm of magic by referencing this powerful Marvel villain. Mephisto was at the center of a lot of speculation during WandaVision. When the show debuted in 2021, it was the first Disney Plus MCU series produced by Marvel Studios, and fans had high hopes for it to have significant impacts on the broader franchise. While it didn't quite deliver on that front, other than confirming Wanda's transformation into the Scarlet Witch, it did have a storyline deeply connected to magic. Because of this, many fans speculated that Mephisto would turn out to be the main villain. The buzz around this theory got so intense that even people who weren't familiar with the comics were mentioning his name in fan discussions. But by the end of WandaVision, Mephisto wasn't mentioned at all. Instead, Agatha was the main antagonist, and most of the weird stuff happening in Westview was because of her, not Mephisto like many fans thought. Even though WandaVision is considered one of the best MCU shows, some fans were disappointed that such a big villain didn't even get a mention. Now, with the sequel series, it seems like those theories are finally being picked up. The demon's name finally gets mentioned in a Marvel show. In Episode 3 of Agatha All Along, Mephisto is confirmed to exist in the MCU. In Episode 3, Agatha's witches find a sigil on Joe Locke's character and think Agatha is behind it. During a private moment, Jennifer Kale warns Teen to watch out for Agatha, mentioning rumors that she traded her son, Nicholas Scratch, for the Darkhold. She adds that nobody knows what happened to him and suggests he could be an agent of Mephisto. This is the first time Mephisto has been named in the MCU, confirming that the demon actually exists. As for the MCU's version of Mephisto, we still don't know a lot. In the comics, he's a demon who rules a pocket dimension called Hell, kind of like Dormammu and the Dark Dimension from Doctor Strange. The mention of someone being an agent of Mephisto suggests he recruits people, likely desperate magic users, to do his dirty work on Earth. Now that we know someone can serve him, it raises the question of whether any characters in Agatha All Along might be working for Mephisto, but that's still a mystery for now. An interesting theory suggests that Mephisto might be behind some of the biggest issues in the MCU since Avengers Endgame. This character has a strong following in Marvel Comics, so his potential involvement in the MCU raises some intriguing questions about the chaos we've seen lately. With characters behaving strangely and a string of unfortunate events, it's tempting to chalk it all up to just bad luck. However, these in-universe problems seem to reflect real-world struggles, like disappointing box office numbers and critics' reviews that leave fans wondering if the MCU has lost its magic. This theory posits that Mephisto could be the reason for these post-Endgame struggles in the Marvel Universe. Mephisto's backstory could have some interesting connections to the MCU's multiverse. While he might look the part and his realm resembles Hell, Mephisto isn't actually Satan. Instead, he's a powerful extra-dimensional being who thrives on ensnaring souls. He's worked alongside major players like Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, but he's more of a lone wolf, preferring to manipulate those who feel they need his help. He's even taken on forms like a fly early on, leading some fans to speculate that the fly in WandaVision was actually Mephisto in disguise and a snake, supposedly influencing Adam and Eve. One of his most notable acts was corrupting Johnny Blaze, turning him into Ghost Rider after Johnny sold his soul to save his surrogate father. When we look at how Mephisto is portrayed in the comics versus what we might see in the MCU, it's tough to determine just how much of an influence he could have in this universe. Since Mephisto is an extra-dimensional being, it's possible he was unleashed the moment Sylvie killed He Who Remains and created the multiverse. However, there were still realms before the multiverse formed, so he might have been working behind the scenes, influencing events only when it really mattered. The multiverse gives him a chance to gain power and explore different realities, much like he did during Jason Aaron's run in the Avengers. This connection suggests that Mephisto is strongly tied to the multiverse. With countless worlds to check out and learn from, he has plenty of opportunities. Plus, considering that the sacred timeline is seen as the most important one in the multiverse, it makes sense that Mephisto would be the one to gain significant power. This could lead to a situation where whatever debts were established in Earth 616 are finally coming due. So, all those chaotic events in the sacred timeline could just be a ripple in a much larger pond that Mephisto has stirred up. The problems in the multiverse saga can be traced back to Mephisto. After Avengers Endgame, fans expected the MCU to expand on its lore while respecting the past. But while shows like Loki and movies like Spider-Man No Way Home succeeded, others faced criticism for their character choices and storylines. Instead of blaming creators, we might consider that Mephisto has been quietly influencing events and characters in unexpected ways. Take Secret Invasion, for instance. Its controversial moments, like Maria Hill's death and the odd timing of the Skrulls' invasion post-blip, can seem confusing. But if you view it through the lens of Mephisto subtly manipulating things, it makes sense why chaos ensued. Eternals also raises eyebrows, with a celestial emerging after the multiverse's creation, driving greed over adamantium resources and causing political instability. And in No Way Home, Peter Parker nearly lost control after Aunt May's death, but his variants helped him stay on track. The multiverse saga often highlights characters trying to do the right thing, but getting corrupted instead. So the more controversial the story, the more likely it might involve Mephisto's influence. In the multiverse saga, everything seems to be building towards the big events of Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, especially with the potential inclusion of characters like Doctor Doom. However, Mephisto could still play a significant part, regardless of whether Secret Wars happens. Since Agatha opened the Darkhold in WandaVision, hints of a major demonic force have been in the air. It could be Chthon seeking revenge for the destruction of Mount Wundagore, but Mephisto might also be the one pulling the strings from the shadows. With rumors of the Midnight Suns making an appearance, Mephisto could become a formidable threat for a new team to tackle on TV. Even with the chaos of Battleworld, Mephisto could easily carve out a space for himself, and recent phases have only boosted his power. As viewers see the witch's strengths in Agatha all along, it makes Mephisto even stronger too. This makes Agatha's warnings more significant. There's a presence even more threatening than Kang or Thanos lurking in the background. As Mephisto grows in prominence, it's likely we'll see Ghost Rider emerge as a key figure, uniting those who can confront him. Ultimately, Mephisto could explain some of the lower points in the MCU. Instead of blaming the characters or the creative teams, it might be that a dark force has been manipulating events all along. Well, that's it. Subscribe to the channel to get updated regularly with the latest update. See ya!